What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream where we're back in our Deck Knight project, a game built from scratch using Unreal Engine 5, C++, Blueprints, the gameplay ability system plugin, and all of that good stuff. So today we're going to start working on the projectile object pooling system. That way we can try to be even more performant, hopefully, when it comes to spawning projectiles. And I also want to generalize the projectile so that, like, the projectile I use to, shoot the bow can be the same one that spawns like this projectile from the dummy characters, So I'll need to figure out how to do this the best way, because obviously there's going to be a lot of context to a lot of the stuff here when it comes to these projectiles. Like, they have these markers on the ground that display. We want to make sure that that's dynamic as well, so you can pass in a specific kind of class for it and have it be potentially a part of the projectile. We'll have to see, because I want to avoid spawning a bunch of stuff all the time. Hey Casper, how you doing? I'm doing good. Slowly but surely bringing the project together. I should probably bias towards the enemy I'm facing, but yeah. So we're going to start working on this object pooling system, and we'll see how far we take it. And like I was saying, I want to try to generalize the projectiles in some way, so I started thinking about what it needs. So, like, if we want to be able to enable gravity, have speed, gravity scales, lifetimes, but lifetime would be tied more to when it gets put back into the object pool. Projectile mesh, the trail, collision spheres. I'll put it back. I think hit is fine. Maybe optional. Radius multipliers and stuff. Do I want to control those kinds of things? Having a gameplay effect class for status effects, or any effect on hits. AoE class. I would probably want to also add, like, what is this called, really? This marker. I don't think that's what I called it, but let's look at NPC. It should be, this is BP NPC targeting reticle. So yeah, it's another class, I think. So we have projectile base. Well, this is the projectile. It processes area of effect. And then this is the ability, which spawns two different actors, which maybe is not necessary. So maybe this can just be a decal. It is this world reticle. Doesn't really do anything. Then it comes from this class, which does do something. So I wonder how I should do this. Like, should the NPC base also have, like, if you have the option for this class, it also will spawn it. Launch velocity. Pass that along here. So yeah, we'll need to be able to kind of read through data in some way. So let's just start and just try to cover all the cases that we want. So yeah, we need a world subsystem, I believe. And anyone can kind of hook into this world subsystem with characters. So let's do that. Doesn't have to be tickable, I don't think. Oh. Too big of a naming. GAC, can I add an underscore? Yeah. Cool. Public game subsystems. And we could probably take a reference to how we're doing our damage number pooling. Sorry, we got a cute kitty here. So let's find our damage number. Damaged. I think it's damage number panel. Oops, wrong thing. Yeah, we got a little basket for the kitty. She really likes it. Maybe push the. Oh, so you can see her. I don't know why we just hit ensures, but okay. So damage number panel, native construct. Oh my lord. Okay, live coding was just fucking with me. So we have native construct with the damage number, pool size. Like, I don't think we necessarily need to have a default pool size. I think like when a enemy is spawned, I guess they should also construct a couple of damage numbers or object pools. So I'm gonna have to do a tier array like these. So let's flip to the right. Well, like I said, we need some damage numbers, so these can be protected from what I can tell. Property doesn't have to be more than that. Here, yeah, back pointer. Would be valid. Projectile. Active. Not active, but because yeah, I have different types of projectiles, but they should be valid still. Projectile. So there's AoE, which just also includes an area of effect. I don't know if I'm using this, so I don't think it's going to be necessary. Because I'm going to have to refactor this projectile stuff anyway. Try to make it more general. So then we could do this kind of U function. I think this can be public though. new function. We'll make it blueprint callable. And we'll want to do get. I have to return this object, I guess. Doesn't like that, but that's okay. I need to get the available projectile, but when I do get available projectile, I just don't necessarily. Maybe there's get available projectile, and then maybe a call like activate projectile or something, so then I can pass in some data struct. I don't know if I should create this data structure there. I'm gonna make a new class data asset. Projectile data. Something like that. Okay, and then inside of my projectile, let's make a parameter. Now I gotta do this new class, which is data. Like that. Could be enough. Then yeah, the projectile data just needs to be. I guess it would be a structure. Oh, maybe it doesn't have to be a structure. A struct. Maybe it could just be parameters of the data asset. But I think, why would I want it to be a structure or not? I guess I would want it to be a struct so that I can make if I ever needed to. So. F projectile data. And let's just do an example, right? We have projectile speed. We could say what? Edit defaults only. Blueprint speed only. I think we want to do blueprint speed, right? Category projectile movement. Now the struct, I think, has to be blueprintable. And the actual data asset, I think, just needs to have the... not this, but just this. And then it's just the struct. I think that's enough. We can at least see what this looks like. But I think let's also go in. Which it's this one. Okay. I want to make it something I can easily make. Nothing. Yeah. I think it's already checked out, so I should be able to just. We'll find out. Let's compile. Oh, excuse me. Got the emotional support kitty. She takes it. Okay, so we got a compilation error. It was bound to happen. So it is an object pooling system. Make it. Now return null. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what other world subsystem we have. I feel like there's some more steps that we need to do. Man, she's got the most important job of us all. Subsystem, melee, time dilation. Yeah, maybe it's the time dilation. So let me look at the time dilation one. Is that it's a world tickable? So maybe not a good example. The game instance subsystem. I'm guessing this is also tickable. Because I feel like this one doesn't. Well, I guess it needs to be tickable. Because maybe, like, I potentially might want to tick the projectiles in the active group rather than having them tick on their own. Or maybe just to prepare that. What do I need? Grab a bunch of this. Implement. Let's look at just some logic. So tick, whatever. Initialized supers, deinitialize, that's whatever. So when I deinitialize, I should probably destroy all the active or anything in the pool, really. So I'll hide active files and destroy all. Should create subsystems, so this is, I think, what I would need to make sure I do. On world begin play. It's fine. I think that's everything. Those last words. And so I think I need a couple of functions more in the pooling system. Like I for sure want to have like get available projectile, which will check the pool and then add to it if one's not available. But I should probably have some that kind of will add to the pool as well. But well. Because we might want to say, hey, when I spawn, add 3 to the pool if there's not at least 3 or something. So let's see. Do what character? Probably shared. Do something for like projectiles. Do miscellaneous data asset, and then this projectile data. I'll give you an DA underscore projectile data example. And then yeah, we have data, projectile data. Like that. So honestly, I don't like the structure of that. It's like it doesn't really give you like what I don't like is that the struct doesn't kind of break down further, but maybe that's okay. So what can I do now? I need to work with like a generic class of stuff, right? So I need to let's do it little by little. Let's go to my projectile class. And I'll need to, I guess, on begin play somewhere. I don't know if I have a begin play. This is where I would probably need to instantiate stuff from this data. So maybe we can make a U function here. I don't really need to pass the data because it's a variable. So I just gotta check, hey, if that, and then I could just say, what do I say? What does the fox say? I want to say, so if projectile movement component, and then we just say, almost like this, right? So yeah, probably would need initial speed and max speed. For now, we don't need that. We don't need that. This would be sweet. Project data. Speed. So I'm assuming we also need to include game, character, projectile, data. But I don't like it's called projectile data, so I had things like projectile data dash projectile data. So maybe it can read like that. We can just potentially just rename a bunch of stuff as well, but we'll leave it at that. So now I have that. I need to basically say what? So let's assume I do that correctly, but next, because maybe I can have settings and by project settings for like classes for projectile data, not projectile data, but like available classes and stuff that you can reference, and there could be just pools of these different classes in there. So I would need to maybe make either a mapping or just separate arrays or something like that. But for now, we'll keep it to one class. Sorry. My girlfriend's in Canada and she's showing me Niagara Falls and it's awesome. Okay, so she's wearing a poncho. She's awesome. So I have projectile. So let's just not look at the projectile for a second. So I have the data here, but then I need to go back into my subsystem. And projectile pooling, here we go. So there's one for here, get available projectile, and we need to do something kind of similar to what we're doing in the number panel, where we say get pooled damage number. Well, we say while, and do all this stuff. So we also need to get the class as well. So I think we need to make a new project setting thing. But now let's not do it, but let's just put in the class that we need. So I'm gonna do, doesn't have to be a property, I don't think, but let's just look at the so yeah, we made it there. So the property, only category, but anywhere, sure. T sub class of. So now basically we need to do something similar. while free, or is it while available? Num is greater than 0. It's gonna do something. This is wrong, so we'll just look at it. Let's look. I was checking, hey, do we have even a damage number? There's allow shrinking, so we can pass that along. So if available projectile, I just do is valid as well here. But we don't really have to push anything. Like at this point, we just have to turn available projectile. And we do here, right? So full exhausted, create a new widget, overflow. So if not, so we can just do now if invalid projectile class null, and then we say hey gas projectile, new projectile equals get world spawn actor. It should be like spawn actor deferred, I guess. Let's just do normal spawn actor and then we'll refactor it to be deferred. Something like that, right? But this shouldn't really be in the while, right? So the while should only really be part of this first one, right? Should be able to then say this. Seems fine. Let's just go through ChatGPT, of course, and just double check if anything's wrong. Because what's missing is, or how I'm trying to think about this is, like, when should I inject the data that I want to pass into it? Like, I could spawn the projectile, I can get the available projectile. Is it at that point where I like, do I then do it in blueprints, or do I also make a call for it where I can get the available projectile and then handle the data internally myself as well? And like for the projectile class itself too, should it have everything kind of deactive by default? You know what I mean? And I'll need to also spawn it, and I guess the location doesn't matter if it's invisible. So the problem is available projectile pool. That shouldn't be adding it to that. Probably add it to that. And then there needs to be a return projectile. This. Otherwise, we do, yeah, projectile. Whoop. Set direction true. Something like this seems fine. If I make a helper function, that also zeroes things out. Also recommending to do stuff with the project component. So if projectile movement component. I mean, what kind of component am I using? Air base. My version, but I don't know. Do I need it? I guess I'm doing something custom in there, right? So we'll do. Stop movement immediately. Speed velocity. Maybe this is better for the actual projectile to handle. I don't know, but that and then deactivate. Okay. I don't want to clear the lifespan or anything like that, but then okay. More or less. That's that. But now I wanted to say, there's available projectile pool, and there's like, I guess this pool, like, so available, so, or consider this the active projectile pool, or should there be somewhere else? I don't know if this is good or bad, but active projectile pool. Seems like possibly duplicated stuff, but we'll have to see. Let's see what computers say about this one. The main problem says an unused parameter, remove it. Yeah, that's true. Get a build. Well, I don't know why that's anything. Deinitializing the subsystem should also clean things up. We have here. We use tset object pointer for active for test on 7 array if you only add remove membership. Should create subsystem. That's fine. There we go. This doesn't need to be created in the editor world. It's fine. We'll see if that doesn't cause me problems. So get available projectile. It's that, but I should probably make a function like add projectile. Hey, hi person's live. How's it going? How's it going? Sorry, I just saw your message. Was deep in the sauce. Thanks for popping in. How you doing? Void. And I don't know if I want to pass in any sort of kind of class. It can be just an integer. I should be able to do something similar as in this. Oh. And then I could do a for loop. Don't bother with the for loop if we don't have a valid class. The unavailable projectile should be fine. Oh. Yeah, I would want to. I would want to do spawn actor deferred for sure. So I would want to like turn things off by default. I feel like if I defer spawn, I can make sure I do that. But yeah, I just have to call finish spawning, it seems. So let's just rewrite this for deferred. I'm gonna just copy this. Do spawn actor deferred. And then we need more parameters, I think. Because I think it doesn't have to have any owners or anything by default. So null. No. Okay, so that transform. We need to that not Gucci was wrong. Not good. um, I should do like an empty transform. Hoping that's okay. should then be able to say new projectile. But then I'll say new projectile. That. And then finish spawning. And then essentially I need to encapsulate this into a function, I think. So yeah, there's add projectiles to pool. I think there should just be an internal one. Like that. And I should just be able to say like that. And I should hopefully be able to say that. And then I need to make, I think, one more function, basically like claim projectile. And maybe some of these things could be static functions. I'm not sure just yet. We're just making assumptions at the moment, but we'll see. So spawn and claim projectile. Let me look at the function for spawning. Base, but I need bow attack, basic. So we just really have to transform, right? I think everything else can be handled. I need projectile data. Like that. But I don't want to make anything new. just be able to get available projectile, which I'm doing. Update the signature. So kind of like that. Spawn and clean projectile. Pass it in. But maybe at this point, then I could also make sure that the projectile component is good. So add projectile to pool internal. But then I basically need to do the same thing as here. At the very least, have it activate. Don't want the projectile to tick. I do want the component to tick. I think that's enough. Let me again give it to the computer to analyze. Let's see what ChatGPT thinks. Does it suck ass? I'm just glad I compiled. That's actually pretty legit. But yeah, so when we spawn and claim, that's where we need to do it as well. So I don't want it to put it to active here, and I think that's the case here too. So return is fine. So available, we push, active, we remove. So, but when we claim it, we then need to also do that. I'm hoping that's okay. So yeah, there's also that stuff. Let's try compiling over time. And then we need to just see what happens when we try to add this stuff into the pool. To the kiddie pool. So let's just see, can we spawn? No. So far so good. We crash when we spawn. And it has to do probably with this, right? So we're missing something. I know I'm always missing something. So I know for sure in these other tickable world subsystems, there's something in it. There's something with the stat ID or something. This. So that's virtual void in public. Okay. Try that again. And I'll also have to figure out how to test the performance game. How you doing? Thanks for popping in there at YouTube. Hello, how are you? Hope you're doing good. So let's see now if I crash when I try to spawn. Let's see if... Yeah. Cool. So I just always need to provide that stat ID. So what am I making? I'm trying to make a kind of a Hades game. A Hades, like a roguelite, where we try to balance the gameplay, like a live action, not live action, but, you know, fast-paced action cards. So you can activate cards that grant yourself abilities, and stuff like that. There's a lag in your stream. That sucks. I don't know what to do about that stuff, but yeah, essentially you can get points to then equip cards, and these cards can do different abilities. So you can stack like fireball abilities. You have your basic combos. We have different weapons. We have the daggers. We have the bow that has like a special hold, and you can shoot multiple projectiles. And then you have your special melee for the daggers. And we're trying to just figure out some of the stuff with the weapon loops and resource loops. But at the moment we're working on a projectile pooling system so that projectiles can share the same base class and have a pooling system. And then when I spawn my projectile and when they spawn their projectile, we can feed in data into the behavior so that they could just request a projectile that's already spawned, initiate its data, and activate it essentially. So that's what we're currently working on. Just because in the end, we're not going to have that many enemies, I don't think. I think it's a cool learning exercise that we try to do some pooling, try to squeeze as much performance out as we can where applicable. So yeah, that's what we're working on. Hopefully that came through through the lag. But yeah. So now let's see. So I'll do it in the bow weapon, I think, just to add stuff here. So bow, Or is it called arrow weapon? I forget what I named it. Yeah, bow weapon base. There should be weapon level changed. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize I didn't speak English or understand English too well. Construct base weapon component. Call to the parent function. Yeah, more or less you can create cards for powers, yeah. We have this pooling system. And we can add projectiles to pool. Should probably make this 1 by default. Let's add 10. Let's see what happens. Okay. Nothing happens, but maybe that's not a bad thing. So let's go in here. And we have add projectile to pool internal. I always forget the syntax for this. I want to just see how much time it takes. I can understand and speak English, but I'm not a master in understanding all levels and speeds. I see. I can't judge. I don't speak. I barely speak English. So I forget again the syntax for this. So is there? I think I do it in the damage system, or at least I did. Probably in the subsystem somewhere. I also haven't looked at this in a long time, so God knows if I'm ever gonna be able to debug stuff in the future. Is there anything for stat in here? State. State. Up. Why am I even? Yeah. Syntax. Add. Info into sites. Let's just see if ChatGPT understands that question. So trace CPU profiler. Bookmark, trace counter set, trace channel. Trace counter set. What? Anything for like event scope or scope event or something like that. Once upon a time, I'm pretty sure I did, and I think this is what I need to do. So are you making this as full-time or working with a job side by side? No, this is a part-time thing. I have a full-time job. So a couple hours a week I work on this just to kind of get better at what I'm doing. Should be like that. So we should be able to say scoped named event name, color. So let's see if we can look at that. Typically this week, but I typically work 8 hours, but sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 10. No more than that typically. Just depends on the day and what's going on, you know. So it's a good. When I have the energy, I usually try to stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, maybe Sundays. To kind of keep learning and try to get better. You know, try to get better as a designer and pseudo programmer and technical designer. That's typically what I try to aim towards. Not much of an artist. All the art and animations are from Fab, but you know, I've made my tweaks here and there. So let's run a trace profile. Let's spawn. Let's stop. Let's find what's the name of this thing? And projectile pool internal. We don't see anything. Do we even get to add projectiles to pool? We do. No? Oh. Okay, so projectile class is null, so we don't really get that. So I need to be, I think it's null. Let me just be sure. Damn, I just went through your channel and you seem to be a game dev for about 13 years. Yeah, it's been a while. Been working, I guess I've been working in the games industry for close to a decade now. Mix of like AA and AAA. While just kind of working on tutorials and this project just to kind of keep learning. Yeah, maybe someday this game will be something, but for now it's just an educational tool and just something to keep the creative juices flowing, you know? So yeah, T subclass of projectile class. So that's why it's null. I mean, is there a way to default this projectile? Like, can the T subclass of be something? Gotta figure that out. Let's see. Static class. Okay, there you go. For now, that's enough. But again, I might need to make project settings to be able to define this class, but for now it's I think fine. We'll see. So even your main job isn't game dev field apart from YouTube. By the way, I didn't even notice you have a cat beside you. Yeah, we got a kitty. Her name's Lola, but we call her Boo Boo. She's the cutest. But yeah, my main job is in game dev. Currently, I'm working at CD Projekt Red in the new Witcher 4. Before that, I was working at People Can Fly. On Outriders and Outriders World Slayer, the DLC. I was technical designer, principal technical designer on that. Okay, so no crash still so far. That's great. Been working with Unreal Engine since Unreal Engine 3, so UDK days. Since like 2011 or so. Time flies. So yeah, let's run a trace. Let's spawn. Let's stop the trace. Let's open it up. Let's go in to the pooling system. I'm hoping now we will have this scope event. Do great. We should see it like 10 times from what I remember, because we down here in the game thread. Each one takes a little bit of time. Doesn't seem like too big of a deal. So this could be instantiated to some value, but we'll leave it at 10 for now. Now I should be able to go to range base. Let's go basic attack. Now instead of saying spawn actor, I should be able to get the pooling system. Should be able to say spawn and claim projectile. Projectile data. Okay, this needs to be not an object, but a T subclass of. Just for one thing, we'll probably rename that to spawn transform, and we can do the same thing as well. Owner and instigator, I think makes sense. So go to spawn and claim projectile. Okay, my stream just shit its pants, I think. Well, hold on. Ooh. Oh, sorry. So spawn transform. We have owner. We'll do AA actor. Instigator. This needs to be T subclass of, and then this is projectile data. I don't think it needs to be a pointer. I think that's everything we said, right? We're renaming everything. Boom, boom, boom. So let's that on transform. Actual data asset 2, I think it needs to be the subclass of. Not a pointer, so that should fix that. But then in our projectile, so yeah. But how are you even able to read such small text? Even I on my 16-inch laptop can't. I mean, I can make it bigger, but I got a big ass screen in front of me, so I can see everything. So many messages coming in, sorry. Remember how to read this. I should be able to. Then I should be able to say. Should be able to move this as well into this. Be able to say that. Oh. Well, let's see for Gucci there. You can have the text as you like. I don't even know coding, so I just can't read the text in front of me. A lot going on. But yeah, we're coming creeping up onto an hour and a half stream. So I just want to at least prove some sort of concept, because right now there is no so because we have instantiate data. I don't think we're calling this anywhere, right? Like inside of the pooling system, we would have to do it, I think. Right? Spawn and claim. Because yeah, what is instantiate doing? Not much. Oh god, the cat's coming alive. Hold on. No, she jumps. Oh. Everybody say hi. Hey, boo boo. She had enough of my bullshit, so. Unless we're doing instantiate data on begin play, which I guess makes sense. Well, we shouldn't be doing it on begin play. Which we're not. Okay, so is there any instantiate? Okay, so we're not calling it from anywhere, which is fine. So yeah, we get here, we have all this stuff, projectile data. I'm fairly certain we only have. Did I not save that? Oh my god. Hold on. Ah, okay. So do I not have that folder that I made? So let's look. Player, shared, projectiles. Yeah, we don't have it. So maybe it can be an object, and I just rewrote that all for nothing. So hold on. Data asset, projectile data, underscore projectile data example. Okay. So now I don't. Hold on. Hold the phone. So it can be an object. Okay, of course, projectile. It's the data. This also can be hopefully that's okay to be like that. Go like that. Seems fine. Now I'll be able to just write it as that, I hope. Let's see if that compiles. Since you are this experienced, can I ask you a top the internet question? I don't know what that means, but yeah, you can ask me any question. I will try my best to answer it. Who knows if I'm qualified to? Do you think AI is generally going to take all jobs, even though I would be starting my college soon for electronics English? No, I don't think AI is going to take all jobs. I think there's going to be niche things that AI can be doing. Like, they're definitely going to try to replace all jobs, but they're just going to find that some shit's going to go down and AI is not going to be capable of maintaining things at a level that they need it to be. And then, like, it's going to cause issues. And I think people rise up against it, rage against the machine, if you will. But I feel like it's going to get bad. Like, the night is darkest just before the dawn, so it's going to get bad before it gets better. But, like, I don't think it's ever going to, like, fully replace human labor and work. So yeah, here's our spawn and claim projectile. Yeah, there's always going to be a need for humans to prompt and train it. Unless that gets taken too. Let's see what happens. Because, like, it should technically break. So we're not really spawning. You don't see anything. So we put the arrow out. We pull it, but then it disappears. So at the very least, we know this is, I think, getting called. We can see what happens. So we get here. Get to here, so that's good. Seems like it's fine. So in theory, I think I should be able to say get sphere component, get collision component, and then I can set it in game. And I hope I'll be able to see the I should also safeguard this, but it is valid for right now. Yeah, so we see something get spawned. It's right there. Don't you think that the back of the arrow is far behind the string of the bow when pulled fully back? I don't know. I think it looks fine. Like, you know, it's an exaggerated string and everything like that, so I think it looks good. Then again, I don't shoot arrows, so maybe it's strange, but I think it looks fine. Plus, you're going to be up here, so you're not really going to see too much detail on it. But we can always try to adjust it later. There's no need to focus on that detail. But yeah, now we need to also... when we spawn and claim projectile, what are we doing, right? We do this, we do this, we do that. It just glitches sometimes. Just saw it. Not sure when it glitches. Seems normal. I'll try to keep an eye out, but for now it doesn't seem like there's a problem. So yeah, we do this, but then we need to... I guess that's when we need to call new projectile instantiate. What's the name of the function? Yeah, it's this one from data, right? Needs to be no. Hopefully we can there instead. That. Yeah, thanks for popping in. I'm not going to be streaming for much longer today, so I might not be back. I might not be here when you get back, but appreciate you stopping by and chatting. Because once we can, hopefully when this compiles, we'll see that collision move. It could be an issue too, because right now we're setting it to be tick enabled when we spawn and claim it, so that should be fine. So it should work. Quote unquote, should work. I've seen a lot of programmers use if not valid return rather than if valid do stuff. Yeah, I've seen that too. I think it's just easier to read. So you just know, hey, I'm just going to early return here and then continue. It's a good question. I'm not good enough programmer to say if it needs to process the whole block or not. Maybe. All right, moment of truth. Let's see. So no. Oh wait, hold on. No, it's not moving. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what the glitch is. I'm not seeing anything. And honestly, this is also not a glitch. This is being able to spawn 3 arrows during the charge move. Or 2 arrows, I should say. Maybe that part's a bug where the number's not adding up, but you should be able to charge, shoot an arrow. But yeah, so this... So let's go into the projectile. Let's do this. Let's see what happens. We get here. Not there. Hey, thanks for the sub, Little John. On YouTube, much appreciated. So yeah, speed is 1,000. Well, it should be moving. Unless it is hitting me. I'm not doing anything too special. We're doing all this, and we set tick enabled. Like, do I have to do it the other way? Set tick enabled like this, and then do that. Anything? Do I have to set velocity in any sort of way? Let's look at the basic one. Because I think there's a velocity thing, right? Yeah, velocity is 1 in the X, so maybe I can also instantiate this in a better way. Oops, not like that. Maybe. Let me copy this, but actually that, but then I set the velocity here as well. YouTube just randomly recommended me your live and you seem to be a nice guy. Bye again. Thank you. Thanks for popping in. And maybe I can get the forward. In fact, we'll leave it like this. Let's see if that made a difference for us. Because again, I mean, I can kind of suspect that the collision could be problematic. Let's see. Sun's getting real low. And soon. I promise. I just realized the camera's kind of high. Hi. I just really want to see this collision shape move. If I can see it move, I can go to sleep happy. No. I don't think I'm doing anything in arrow base. There's not like ignore, right? Maybe I can check something when it's spawned. Go to outliner. Speed. There's a bunch of these projectiles, obviously. I wonder where they are. Yeah, they're down there. Which is fine. Here's this projectile, right? So let's look at the movement component. So initial speed, max speed is 1,000. So rotation follows velocity. So I should probably make a base blueprint that has, or I should make sure some of these are set, I guess. Because like things like rotation follows velocity, max speed. I'm guessing the max speed is part of the problem. So for now we'll make max speed also the same. So projectile movement component max speed equals validated speed. So hope that's valid. And probably in the constructor of this base class, I would say projectile movement component rotation velocity is true. Should hopefully get us in a better state. Oh. I have a good feeling about this one. I think it's going to move. Oh, we got the kitty again. Hey, boo boo. Okay, and we can also potentially look at all of these projectiles again. But let's see. And we got everything loaded. Boom, boom, boom. Ah! Projectile 10. Let's look. So yeah, we have the 1,000. We have rotation follows velocity. Initial local space. Ricochet target actor should bounce. Collision enabled. No collision. That's fine. Generate overlaps. No, like some of these things need to be also instantiated a little bit differently, but still. Okay, so velocity is still that. So that could be partially a problem. Oh, didn't I write that though? So return projectile to pool. Add projectile to pool. Then spawn and claim. So I'm assuming, okay, so I'm assuming it's not getting to here. Which probably makes sense, but we'll see. We never hit that. Oh wait, I need to spawn the fucking thing first. So bam. So do we even get there? We do. So the projectile, moving component, initial speed, max speed. Velocity. I'm questioning why that velocity is not anything, right? If I make this like that, it does something, but yeah. Instantiate. I'm just curious if that will change anything. Or maybe the velocity doesn't need to be zeroed out when I spawn it. I'll have to think about it. But yeah, other stuff I need to think about too when I want to generalize this stuff. Like I would need to be able to pass in data from the weapon to like do damage and everything. But still just chilling. And this should have no collision. If I go slow motion and I pick this, they reset the velocity. It does drop. Activate. No constraint planes. Should bounce. Gravity scale. Is it ticking? I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to figure it out. Well, we're making progress, but yeah, like we'll have to figure this out. I don't know what it could be, honestly. Maybe it's because this collision is true. Last Hail Mary, guess. If this doesn't work, we'll call it a night. Hey, you're back. We're almost done. So we'll have to see if what we tried here will work. Problem is like this, it just feels like, it doesn't feel like, it is happening where the projectile is being spawned, but it's not moving. So looking at it at slow motion. Okay, so now it's moving. But yeah, it's progress. It just plops down. So do I need to... Let's instantiate data from here first. And then we'll see. Final time, I swear. We got some bots in chat on Twitch, so goodbye, banned. Final attempt, part 2. I'm in Poland. Last check here. So it still just derps down. Oh well. Just see if we can find any information online, but I think that's where I'm going to call it, though. We'll come back, hopefully. So I'll probably have plans on Thursday, so maybe on Friday night we'll do a stream. So stay tuned then, if not on Sunday. Enjoy your week, do your best in life. If you aren't already following me here on Twitch, make sure to follow. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, make sure to sub there. Join our Discord, hang out, ask questions, learn, share your thoughts on anything game related. Welcome and happy to have you. Since there's a decent amount of us on Twitch, I will do a raid. Thanks, Hide the Lemon. Thanks for popping in. So I'll need to... I always forget the syntax. To raid. So stick with me. Yeah, so it's /raid. Okay, so we're going to do a sorcerer's story. Did that not work? There you go. So, nope. That did not work. So... Alright, I had to do it on the Twitch channel, so thanks again, everybody, for watching. It's super duper appreciated. Say hi for me. Have a good night, have a good week. Bye-bye.